This is your February forecast in Sidereal Astrology. Hey, my friend. Danny Simuni's here, spiritual healer, intuitive astrologer. Excited to be back here on the channel with you. This is the very first time that we are doing a monthly overview in on the channel here. So I'm so excited to dive into what the entire month is going to look like for us. So stay tuned. Grab your notebook, grab whatever it is, maybe a cup of coffee, some water, a protein shake, as I used to say in my old videos. Buckle up because we're going to talk all about what is going on in February for February 2024, our sidereal astrology forecast. We're going to talk about where our sun is. We're going to talk about our new moon and our full moon. We're going to talk about the different planets and their energies. There are lots of transitions happening this month. So stay tuned for all of that. And just so that you know, this is also on the brand new Cosmic Mystic podcast. So if you just want to listen to this, if you just want to hear it from an audio standpoint, or you just like you're taking a walk and you're like, I can't look at this, then be sure to go down into the description box and click on the link there and be taken to the episode for this particular forecast. And then if you are on the podcast listening to this, but you want the visuals, you want to see what I'm showing in the charts, then be sure to come on over to the channel. So you've got both options now, which I absolutely love. And I hope you are enjoying too. All right, let's get into it. Let me go ahead and share all the goodness that we have coming up this particular month. So we are talking about February 1st. We begin with our sun right here at 17 degrees Capricorn. So what that means is our sun is still moving through the part of the sky that Capricorn rules. And so over these past few weeks, if you've listened to the past forecast, the weekly forecast. And so just so you know, the weekly forecasts are not going away. They're still going to be here. We're just doing a nice overview for you. So you have like that overview for the month. And then we're going to break it down each and every week and remind you each week about that as well. So consciousness is our sun. And so our sun's consciousness, or our consciousness over these past few weeks and continuing into February, for the first couple of weeks here on till the 12th of February, our consciousness is going to be about showing our limitations and creating those foundations. So over this past month, if we've been feeling, oh man, like maybe a little self-deprecating, maybe we're feeling we're not good enough, imposter syndrome, all of those things tend to come up during Capricorn season. And so we're going to shift from being in this like feeling very restricted, feeling very much like I'm not on track, I'm behind, I'm delayed, all those things, but also knowing how hard work really needs to happen. We're going to move out of that, and the energy is going to move into breaking free from the norms, my friend, breaking out of the box, pushing past those limitations, and calling in all the goodness, allowing our soul to be expressed, allowing that authenticity and more of that intellectual energy. So Capricorn has been this like get in and do the work and get to work. And, Aquarius is like, let's expand our knowledge. Like we've got some knowledge, right? Aquarius is the one zodiac sign out of all the zodiac sign. It's the least emotional sign. So it's all about logic. It is all about intellect, and it's thinking things through. It's that sign that you may know these people out here right in the world who focus so much more on knowing, right, than being. Not that either one is is right or wrong, but their focus is more on knowing, like knowing the things, right? The people that know like the little facts about things that you're like, huh, didn't know that, right? That type of energy is what we are moving into this month. So our first half of the month is very much still in that limitations, creating foundations, and then we're going to break free from those limitations and allow our soul to be expressed. So we've got a couple of different things that are happening this month that I want to point out to you that are affecting the energy overall. And this first one is really going to be, actually, these first two, really going to be affecting the Capricorn energy. So I'm going to add on to this. So we have this back layer, right, with our sun in Capricorn and then our sun in Aquarius. So we have that background, but we have this connection here with Chiron. So our sun is what's called sextile to Chiron. And this is us allowing our wounds to be the fuel for our imagination, for it to motivate us, right, to move through these insecurities, to allow ourselves to recognize our potential as a leader, as an inspiration, as somebody who has been through some ish, who is ready to kind of show somebody else how to do it. That's what this energy is. And when we bring in that energy of Capricorn, who is like the master, let me just say, Capricorn very much prides itself on being the master. So much so, this is why we see our limitations, because it's like, wait, I don't know that. I don't know all of the things yet. So I am not ready, right? If you've had that feeling, I would definitely look at where Capricorn is in your chart. I'm a Capricorn rising, so Saturn rules my chart, which means this is constant for me, guys. My friend, this is constant for me. I'm always dealing with like, am I good enough? Do I know everything? Do I have all the details? Do I know enough to put myself out there or to put it out there, right? That's where a lot of my own hesitation comes into play. So welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. But Saturn will definitely Capricorn energy will definitely show you where those limitations are. So make note of that over these first 2 weeks of the month, allowing our imagination, allowing our potential to really come forward and realize like, man, I do know some things. I may not know everything. I may not have it down pat. I may not be the master just yet, but I know some things. I know some things and I can share some things and allow that, right, to begin to start being expressed. Now, the second one we have here is I'm actually going to move this forward because that Jupiter is going to fall off and Uranus is going to come in. So we've been talking about Jupiter, but now we've got this Uranus energy here. This is a sun square Uranus. And so when we bring this energy in, we are in need of some open-mindedness and some flexibility. I say that because Uranus brings uncertainty. It brings this uneasiness, this anticipation that something is coming, something is shifting, change is about to happen. And I'm worried, right, that it's going to hit me out of nowhere. And oftentimes we're not sure if are we going to be ready for this? Can we handle this? Can we stand the ground? Can our tree? I was talking to a client the other day and she was like, I'm trying to stand in my tree, right? She was like, I'm trying to be in my tree, but my tree is like, it's not standing, right? My roots aren't deep enough yet. And so we could definitely have this feeling as the sun is square Uranus. And this will be from the third, actually, I think it's the second here if I go back. Yep, it's the second all the way through the 13th. So through the end of this Capricorn season, there's this buildup of tension, of this unpredictability of like, ooh, I'm not sure. Something's about to happen. Something's about to go down. And you may even feel called to make some changes in your appearance, changes in your self-esteem. So like, I recognize you walls, I recognize you comfort zone, and we're just gonna keep going, right? We're just gonna push on past that. This is also a really good time to break free from those restrictions and those habits. So we really have this really nice energy here with the sun, this first part of the month, really allowing us to explore, right? Explore. Now, I also want to bring in here, because we also have this first part of the month, we have Mars here. And Mars is actually, he is conjunct Mercury. We've been talking about this. If you've been watching the channel, right, we've been talking about this. We got that full conjunction on the 27th. And here we are moving into February, very beginning parts of February. We can see that we're still there, and it is kind of leaving. It's like the train is now leaving. We're good. So we've had that mental focus. We've been able to stand and defend our positions, right? Or we've been getting into arguments. We've been getting triggered, right? And we've been working with using this mental energy, right? So this is clearing, which is great. If we look at all that is happening with the Capricorn, that's clearing. What we do have coming in here, though, that I want to show you is that we have right here on the 6th, you're going to see the conjunction with Pluto. So this is Mars and Pluto conjunction. This is an increase in ambition, in power, in control, and it's like it can't be ignored. It's like it doesn't, we're not being ignored. Let's just be clear. We will not allow ourselves to be ignored. So this can be manifesting in different ways, right? This could be you stepping into your power, you calling it in and being like, here we go, here we go. Let's do this. This can also be somebody, right, trying to overpower you or trying to take power over you. This can also be you doing that to other people, right? And so as conscious leaders, as healers, as coaches, we are self-aware, right? We are able to notice like, ooh, okay, I'm stepping into my power, and I need to figure out what that adjustment level is. And so we have this opportunity here at the beginning of the month to bring in that energy of like, I know my stuff. I know what I know. I know what I stand for. I know what I'm about. I'm here, right? I'm here to help the collective conscious. I'm here to raise this vibration. I'm here to do this work, right? I'm also doing my own work. And so we can also raise our own vibrational energy here and bring in this, sense of getting a little bit creative and allowing what is meant to come through right now to come through. So this is, I love, like, this is, I will also say it can be a little bit tense out there. So giving you kind of that heads up, we're pretty much going to see this energy from the 6th here all the way to the 22nd, all the way to the 22nd of February, with its peak on the 13th. So there could be some competitiveness, some, pushing and pulling, some ego conflicts, definitely coming in. But you, like, move this energy, my friend, move this energy. If you're somebody that is needing to stand more and more in your power, this is an excellent, excellent time to do just that. All right. The other thing I want to talk about here with Mars is we also have Mars, and we're going to see this as we are moving through this chart, but we're going to bring in Venus here. So these guys, all three of these right here. So we've got Pluto, Mars, and Venus. They're hanging out this month together. And so the way I like to think about it is like they're hanging out. They're at I don't know, let's say Mars's house. They're at Mars's house. And Pluto's hanging out. Pluto's been hanging out with Mars for a bit. He's been influencing him, and there's a lot of vibration, a lot of power, a lot of energy, a lot of drive, right? And then Venus comes in, and Venus is like, hey guys, what's up? And so Venus comes in on the 9th here, and she's increasing our desire for more intimate relations. She's wanting to be satisfied. She's like bringing in that charisma and popularity and wanting to be more social, where Pluto and Mars were like, go, drive. Let's take over. Let's be in our power. Venus is going to soften that just a bit when we get to the ninth here. She's going to soften it just a bit, and she's going to bring in that charisma. She's going to bring in that like beauty and elegance and like being able to move through things so much nicer and gentler, right? She brings this softness to this. So this is like a good time to like hang out with friends and be social, have people over to your house and just connect on a much deeper level. And so you may even see like you wanting to like bring these energies together here. And Venus and Mars are going to be hanging out all the way through March 6th. So we've got this entire month here of just really having these two kind of dance really nicely together. So we've got this, Pluto wanting to come up and really take over and control, but we've also got that Venus energy coming in and kind of softening it. So I'm going to anticipate that there probably is going to be some things that are coming up, but we also have, like, I want you to think about this too from the flip side of it, is that we can also have this energy of manipulation, right? Deceit, right? When we're talking about even in a relationship, right? If we're wanting to get our way, right, we can influence in a certain way where we're not really being honest with by speaking our words and what we want, but we're doing it in this like manipulative way. And that can also be the place of like that influence with Pluto. So I want you to pay attention to that too as we move through this month, is that we could see some of that like coming up as well. So just be, again, self-awareness, right? This is why we're here, self-awareness. All right. The last one we have here coming in, as you can see here, is these guys are all making a sextile to Uranus. Now, sextile is a really nice aspect. It's a very supportive aspect. And so this is bringing a more sensitivity because we're talking about Neptune. Neptune is in Pisces, which is more dreamy, more flowy. It is more spiritual, right? So it's got this like really nice, more assertive spiritual energy kind of happening here because we're talking about that Pluto and Mars. So it's more of an assertive, like defending in a way, but still in a really nice, supportive, and loving way because of that Venus energy. So, spiritual truths here, being in spiritual truths, applying spiritual truths, sensitive to what others may be experiencing and how you can support them and be of service, right, to them. There's a little bit of a mystic allure here that can attract people to you, especially as we're talking about spiritual development. And you might even feel like you're more charitable, wanting to, help out more or again, be of service to others. So acts of charity or maybe even like, connecting with your partner and supporting your partner in something as well. So this is really, this first part of the month here, we can see is like really cool, really good, nice energy. Yes, there is that Mars and Pluto energy wanting to come through, but I'm all for it. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing here. Now, the other one I want to point out here is Mercury. So Mercury does still have this square here with Jupiter, and we will see this continue through the month. And so this starts about the 6th here. And when we're looking at Mercury and Jupiter, it's very optimistic. It's very hopeful. It's like all the possibilities, all the ideas. And then we've got Mercury and conjunct Pluto. So we didn't see it here because it's not quite in these guys' range. It's already kind of moved past them by now, but we can see Mercury here still hitting Pluto. And so with Mercury in Pluto, it actually will hit its peak on the 5th, and then it will clear out on the 8th. But this is bringing more depth and intensity to your thinking. Really good time to like do some research and uncovering things, uncovering secrets, getting to the bottom of troubling issues or things that have been like ooh, I can't quite figure this out, but being able to get down deep into them, self-analysis, self-reflection. This is all really, really good time for some unearthing of things that are ready to come up, right? I'm a firm believer that when it is time for us to look at something, it comes up. So never be afraid that when something is coming forward, that you're not ready to look at it, that you're not ready to acknowledge it or understand it. You actually are. That's why it's coming forward for you. So the other one is Mercury and Pluto. We can see this square down here, right? And when Mercury is square, Mercury is square. We talked about Mercury and Jupiter. Mercury and Uranus. So Mercury and Uranus. Let me click over to there. It's going to get a little bit later in the month, on the 13th. But I want to give you this first half as we're in Capricorn. Mercury in Uranus brings more of like thinking outside of the box, being able to see something from a different perspective, being able to change, right? Like, I can see a better way to do this, or I can logically see how we can do this differently. And so we'll see this coming in here later on in this month. So on the 13th here, we'll see her pop in, and then it will be there all the way till the 20th of the month. So that last week, just before the end of the month, will be there. Okay, I want to go back to. I know I just wanted to give you that, like, kind of as like an overview for those first couple of weeks as we're in that Capricorn energy. But we're going to move into the later half of the month, which with Aquarius, with our sun being in Aquarius, as we can see here. Our sun moves into Aquarius on the 13th of February and will be there through March 13th. So, as I said, the consciousness shifts here from limitations, creating foundations, into breaking free of norms, allowing our soul to be expressed in its true authenticity. And so, we have a couple of things that are hindering that just a bit. And so, I want to point those out to you. And we're going to see that first come up with Saturn. So, Saturn, as we kind of talked about with the Capricorn energy, we'll see Saturn come in here on the 22nd, along with Mercury. So, we already talked about Mercury and the sun kind of hanging out together, but now we are adding in Saturn. And so, with Daddy Saturn there, it changes things a little bit, because although we are in the Aquarius energy, um, we are dealing with some of that authoritarian daddy of the zodiac energy. So, hard work, discipline for sure, attending to duties and obligations, maybe even taking on extra responsibility or being a guide or mentor to somebody else, wanting to be noticed, wanting to be counted, wanting the satisfaction. The achievement, the recognition, like the promotion, like, hello, can I've been doing the work. Can I get the title already? Right. A lot of that energy is coming through here with the sun conjunct Saturn, and especially with that influence on the sun side from Mercury. So here I'm gonna say you may be feeling like you are being a rock for somebody else, or somebody is there for you, right? You're able to be, somebody else is able to be that rock for you. This is a really nice time to unclutter, declutter life, declutter the old, right? That is taking up space. And whether that's within our mental thinking or whether that is in our physical space, right? We have physical clutter. It says a lot about what is going on in our mind. It means our mind is probably cluttered. And so we can clear some of that out so it can be less complicated, so we can actually just go out and achieve our goals easily and effortlessly. I don't know about you, but I like that. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. The other one I want to point out here is on the 23rd, so the next day, we're going to see Jupiter making a sextile here to the sun and Saturn, and also with that Mercury energy. So there's a lot of optimism here. Good luck. really time to see how we can reach our goals, putting in the hard work, doing the hard work, um, being part of a community or a collective of some sort is also really nice here. Being of value to the community or being value to the group, maybe, whether that's your social group, professional group, but being really generous towards others. Really, so it's good. You can see like we're shifting here. It's like stepping into my power, stepping into my mastership, being an influence, being in power, so to speak, and then moving into this very generous, very charismatic, very optimistic, like, right, being of service to others, which is the way that our month is really going to flow, which is really quite nice. And so then we have, let's see, we didn't talk about Mars and Jupiter here. So let's talk about Mars and Jupiter because that is a square aspect, which squares tend to be a little bit more harsher aspects. But with these two in particular, and because of that Venus influence here with Mars, we are seeing a good time to initiate new projects or start new projects, like beginning something. Taking risk here would actually be okay. Using the forethought and the strategy for sure, but being able to take risk is actually kind of a good thing. Having the courage to take on projects or competition or conflicts, like being able to kind of take that on and deal with that and handle that, which is really great. It's not the time necessarily to go on attack here. And this energy doesn't feel very attacking. It's more of acknowledging and being like, ooh, how am I going to be strategic about this? Right? I'm going to choose this fight carefully. I had a friend who he used to say like, is this the flag that I'm gonna mount on my mountain? Like, am I gonna am I gonna die on this flag here, like, right? Am I gonna stake my claim, so to speak? Like, being mindful of where you're wanting to put down your flag and stake your claim. What is that like? Do you really want this thing, this minor thing that you're getting in a fight about, or that you're in conflict with about? Like, do you really want this thing to be the thing that you're going to die on, kind of idea? So just also pay attention here that we could go overboard and burn out our energy. We have a tendency to kind of overdo it here because we've got really good energy. So we might want to overdo it and burn ourselves out. So, my friend, be careful. Don't overdo it. Don't burn out. Please don't burn out. And then okay, so let's go back. So I want to talk about our new moon and our full moon this month. Our new moon is taking place on the 9th of February, and it will be in Sidereal Capricorn. So we will see the new moon in Capricorn because our sun is still in the energy of Capricorn. And so, with our new moon here, we've got a couple of different things that are happening. And so, I just want to say that this particular new moon, because we are in Capricorn, because we've got a square here. Let me show you. We've got a square here to Uranus, and we've also got this sextile to Chiron. So Uranus is really wanting to shift things up, wanting to bring in new encounters, wanting to add some spontaneity into some, um, that unexpected kind of radical rebellion energy, and Capricorn is the complete opposite of that. So there's a bit of a tension here of wanting to kind of step out, but also like noting that there are certain structures and foundations that we do need. And so it's not like we can't just blow it all up. If you follow tarot, it's not the tarot, it's not the tarot card. Wow. It's not the tower card. It's it's noticing what the foundations are. So, foundations in my life that are really serving me really well, which is what we've been looking at in Capricorn, and noting that there is something new that's wanting to come in. So, what is the new perspective? What is the new experience that maybe you want to create? in this next 30 days. So maybe it's the mundane, but how are we shifting our perspective and our energy around the mundane? I was called at the end of October, beginning of November, to bring more experience into what I do, into my events this year, into the way that I am doing things, making it more of an experience and less about the content, less about what is actually being taught or the information that is being relayed and the way that it's being relayed, but more so the whole entire experience of it. And so as I started to think about the things that I'm doing, particularly with my own new moon intention setting that happens every single month. I host it in person and online, creating that more into of an experience. And not that it hasn't been, but my lens of thinking about it as an experience is what can I shift in here to up level it? What can I shift in here to make it more experiential? And using that, right, as my springboard and using that energy to create from. What's the possibilities when we do it for that? So I want you to, with this new moon here in Capricorn is, yes, we have our foundations, and how can we rethink them? How can we elevate them? How can we shift our perspective and energy around them to create something even better? Okay, let's take a look at our full moon, because our full moon is taking place on the 24th. So let's go over to the 24th of the month. Oh, let's get rid of that one. Go over to the 24th of the month, and we'll see here that the moon is in Leo. So we're in opposition to the sun, which is in Aquarius. So the opposite zodiac sign to Aquarius is Leo. So with this one, we have a couple of different things that are happening with this new moon. We've got the opposition with Saturn and Mercury. And we also have this trine over here to Jupiter. So when we look at this opposition with Mercury and Saturn, this is really bringing some um, noticing our responsibilities, noticing the burdens, noticing the guilt, noticing the feeling sorry for ourself energy, and also noticing where we may not be expressing our needs, expressing our desires, expressing what we actually want. And I hear, I ask people a lot, my clients, or I'll talking to somebody, and I'm like, "Oh, what do you want? Or what does that look like?" And they're like, "I don't know." And I have this firm belief that we always know. We always, always, always know what we want. We always know what it looks like. We always know what we desire. We may be scared. We may be afraid of what that could be. We may not quite understand everything about it, but deep down, we know exactly what we desire. And it's allowing ourselves to sit in the inner temple and allow that to come forward. That's what this particular new full moon is asking us, to sit in the silence, to sit and allow what needs to come forward so that we can release it. Where are we not speaking for what we need? Because we know what we want. We know what we want. And if you don't, I'm going to challenge you to sit and ask your question, unconscious journal for at least 7 minutes. Okay. It's at least 7 minutes unconscious journal about what it is that you want. And then notice where those restrictions are for you, where you're not allowing yourself to be that. That's what this full moon in Leo is going to invite into our lives. Now, I want to talk about two other things that we want to be kind of aware of. And I'm not going to go into like a whole bunch of detail about them, but I want to give you, we can look into those weekly forecasts for these, but our motivation and our communication. So our motivation is in the energy of, it's beginning this month in the energy. We're looking at Mars here. It's beginning in Sagittarius and then it's going to move into Capricorn. So at the beginning of this month, and it moves right at around the 5th, the 6th, 5th, or 6th. And so we're going to see the very beginning of this month, or motivation, which it's been through the end of January here, is exploring, adventure, optimism, the possibilities, right? This very open and expanded energy. And our motivation is going to shift to being more responsible, being more organized, being more kind of put together. We're going to use that put together in quotes. And my word that I do not like, but I know people use it and it expresses this energy here, but adulting. I hate that word, my friend. I really hate that word. I do not like that word. But adulting, being responsible, being organized, having things put together. And when I say these words, I want you to know that it's what it is for you, right? Organized doesn't mean like every minute on your on your calendar is structured out, right? Organized doesn't mean that everything is structured. Organized just means like you have a plan, you have an idea, right? It doesn't have to be every single little detail, but there's an idea. Now people like me are going to get into the details, right? We want our calendars planned out really nicely, but that doesn't mean that that's it for you. But that's where our motivation is going to be. It's going to move from that energy of exploring and adventure and just kind of like going out there and really being like, I need to kind of get responsible about things. I really need to get organized. I really need to start getting my stuff together, right? Whatever that is, whatever that means. We'll just put that out. And then our communication is in Capricorn until the 19th, and then it's going to move into Aquarius, just like we saw, right? Because we saw that conjunction with the sun earlier. So it's going to come from this very methodical and practical approach to things, to no nonsense, no fluff, and more precision. So we go to more rigid thinking. We go to from mapping out our plans and being very rigid with things to being very free with things. We move into like, let's be logical about this, right? Where it was responsible with Capricorn, it's going to move into being more logical. So our thinking and our communication is really shifting, because Sagittarius, it was just like, I'm just going to tell you how it is. I don't really care. I don't care what you think. I don't care how it's going to make you feel. I'm just going to tell you what it is. What it is what it is, right? And then we're moving into this more methodical and practical approach to things, to this really long-term type thinking, to being very rigid and stubborn, and then to like being really intellectual and really wanting to state the facts and give you the facts on everything. So it'll be really interesting to see how this shifts for us over the next month or so. But my friend, this has been your sidereal astrology forecast for the month of February. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I do. I look forward to doing these each and every month. Be sure to download the zodiacal guide for the month. We have one that comes out every time our sun moves into a new zodiac sign. So we currently have the Capricorn up and live for you. So make sure to download that one, and then you'll automatically get the Aquarius one when it comes out later this month. My friend, have a great rest of your day, and let me know what energy you're excited about for this month down in the comments. And as always, close your eyes with me and let's take a nice deep breath in and find peace.